Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome back to another Positive Spin. Today we're going to be taking a look at something a little bit more obscure, but it definitely shouldn't have been. And that is Venom. Okay, my personal relationship to this movie is basically, it's not really much of one, but it's one that I saw on a multi-pack, because this used to be on several multi-packs. And I watched it, and I liked it so much that when I found this in a thrift store or a secondhand store, I ended up buying it just to have it on an individual release. Okay. Venom should have been, in my opinion, it should have been the next big horror icon for that time period. And Joe and I are going to be talking a little bit more about that in an upcoming stream on 2000s slashers. But stay tuned and I'll give you more information as it becomes available. Okay, this movie, I like how the voodoo gets brought up in the very beginning, kind of lets you know what you're dealing with. This is going to, of course, fall in spoiler territory, so if you've never seen this film, this one's a little bit more obscure. I understand that, but it also had a major release. It just didn't do that well. So, yeah. So the voodoo gets brought up in the very beginning. It's actually, the lady was referred to as a Haitian mambo. Not really sure what that is, but it has to do with voodoo. I love the young cast. The young cast in this movie they do a really good job in my opinion. We have Jonathan Jackson, we have Method Man, Agnes Bruckner, Bijou Phillips, and Megan Good. And they all do a fantastic job in this film. Another thing I learned about myself, when I did a positive spin for Scream 3, I found out that I love movie sets in films. And just about every one that has a movie set I've really enjoyed. This one, it's the swamp setting. Anything in swamps, I have said this before, but it's been a while. But the swamp setting in this is great. Absolutely so cool. I love the tow truck in this film because you have your killer, who is Ray. He drives a tow truck, and this tow truck is massive. And it's the type of tow truck that is not just used for towing cars, it's used for towing tractor trailers. Now, is this overkill in Louisiana? Probably, especially for a small swamp type town. But it just makes it feel more massive to me. I don't know. It was a nice touch, in my opinion. Some of the shots are beautiful and very interesting because of the way they film the swamp, and also kind of in between kills and in between scenes. It's done kind of modern and stylistic. And I understand if that's not some people's preference. I have been watching more 2000 slashers lately because of what Joe and I are getting ready to do. But you find that that's a trend in that sort of style. And they're like little blips between scenes. I find them kind of interesting. I like Ray as the killer. And as far as the tow truck goes, here's something to add on to that. The tow truck place that he owns, which is a rundown kind of dump, it's called Happy Time Towing. I mean, that's just awesome. Ray is the killer, as I was saying before. He's pretty massive, and he makes a good killer. I'll get into how that could work and maybe not work a little bit later on in this positive spin. I love the grandmother's house, and that is one of the girls played by Megan Good. She is right there. She is Cece, and her grandmother's house is absolutely gorgeous. It's what you kind of typically think of when you think of Louisiana for some reason. At least it did for me. So I really enjoyed that. I like the storyline between Ray and the son he never knew. Now, one of the young kids who's getting chased and picked off one by one is his actual son. And he and his father don't have a relationship. And I thought that was an interesting type of. You don't normally see that in slashers, that you're actually related to the killer. It's pretty interesting. I like the snakes and the evil that they represent. Now, this goes into major spoiler territory. Now, this woman, this Haitian Mambo, which is Cece's grandmother, actually takes the evil out of bad people and puts them into snakes and kind of holds them there. Well, the snakes get out and they go inside of Ray. And this lends itself to another thing I kind of like. Most killers in movies are just built up as kind of heinous characters. Ray is not exactly a likable character, but he's not a bad person, per se. And when he gets bit by the snakes, of course, the evil goes inside him, and that's where you get your dangerous characters. So it's kind of like a killer that you can sort of sympathize with, in a way. I thought that was an interesting way to do this. I like the use of chains. Now, the killer, Ray, uses chains in order to kind of get his prey towards him. Think of Scorpion in Mortal Kombat. Me, myself, I think more of Ghost Rider, which I've always been a big fan of. But, you know, kind of if you need a point of reference, I think it would be Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. I like that Ray, the killer, deteriorates throughout the film after he's bitten by the snakes, and just kind of the way he looks just kind of becomes more and more nasty, but it's just really cool looking. They did a good job with the makeup. And the special effects, in my opinion, were fantastic. Now, in doing some more research, I watched some of the special features and some of the documentaries on here, and this was a rights issue that was bought by a video game called Backwater. Now, there was a game that was supposed to come out which had a killer named Ray who looked kind of like he did, and it was a video game called Backwater, which I had no luck in finding. Maybe the video game didn't come out, I'm not sure. But they bought the rights, and they wanted this to be their next major icon. Now, in the video game, the guy had keys on his belt, and you could always hear him when he came around because the keys would make noise. And the killer was actually called in the video game Mr. Jangles, and I thought that was pretty neat. Now, the last thing I wanted to say about this film, other than the fact that I think it's a great slasher movie, a great modern slasher, is that if you take some time and insert some imagination, you could do absolutely anything with this franchise. You could make the killer anything, because it's not the person per se, it's the snakes which hold the evil, which go inside of the person. So the killer could be, you could have 20 different films with 20 different killers. The possibilities are literally endless. But of course we didn't get that because everybody took a big old crap on this movie when it came out. I don't think it deserves it. How about you? Definitely comment below and let me know if this is one you haven't seen but you're eager to check out. And you do, let me know what you think when you check it out. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think it deserved some more attention. Maybe I'm the only one. But that's been a positive spin on Venom. Definitely check out Joe's video, and if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.